Hello, and welcome to my review of Corporate Torment Burns Like Hell, an 18-minute short horror film by Italian filmmaker GUERRILLA Metropolitana. Please note that some of the details of this review explore some very sensitive topics, so discretion is advised. I will be reviewing this short horror film by breaking it down into acts, of which there are three. Act 1 shows the director, Guerrilla Metropolitana, using meta-cinema as he sets up his filming equipment. Act 2 is the dispute between Ms. Rice, who is played by actress Juicy X, and Rudolph, who is played by the director himself. Act 3 is what I would call the revenge section of the film, and the grand finale. This is the fifth film I've actually reviewed by Metropolitana here on this channel as I continue the filmography of this outstanding and phenomenal filmmaker. So, this short horror film, it's dark erotica interwoven with scenes of extreme horror in the style of avant-garde and art house undertones. So, get ready as I take a deep dive into this unprecedented piece of expressionist artwork into the world of Metropolitana's cinematic exploration and journey. And if you don't know the name Guerrilla Metropolitana, you will soon. Act 1. This short horror film, Corporate Torment Burns Like Hell, begins with a dedication to all of those workers who have been unfairly dismissed, and then it is followed by the words, "May justice be done." This essentially sets up the plot, the theme, and the tone. Guerrilla Metropolitana, as the director, is setting up his filming equipment and what he is well known for now, meta-cinema in his cinematic works. The caption across the screen says, quote, "Getting set, a filmmaker in action, camera, tripod and lubricant." This becomes vital to the story, as you will soon see as you commence through this short film. There are quite a lot of metaphorical and subliminal messages embedded within this. So, in black and white, we see the director preparing to film as flashes of psychedelic images, different gradients of colour, descriptive captions and symbolic references continuously but very briefly are popping up, giving the viewer a quick look at what they are in for. The filmmaker is like a voyeur. He looks through the peeping hole and whatever he finds stimulating becomes cinema, a direct quote from the captions. And that is Metropolitana in a nutshell. It will become clear that he has put his heart and soul into this, creating his vision and bringing it to life for us all to see. Once again, this is another one of Metropolitana's blink and you will miss short films, so be vigilant when viewing this, otherwise you might miss the point completely. This short horror film has no spoken dialogue, which is another element that sets this particular filmmaker apart. Rather, there are captions that explain what is going on, making it easy to follow along with the story arc. The sound effects are very well placed, as we hear a camera shuttering in the background, along with construction noises, birds chirping, and various other sounds that are very interesting and have a purpose. You'll get a sense that what you're about to go watch is going to be bizarre and unconventional, and that does not disappoint. The photography that intercepts the scenes are images of dark erotica and a variety of allegories, so pay very close attention. These are expertly positioned and add depth and layering to the storyline and the plot. The cinematography is just phenomenal. Metropolitana is displaying his masterful filmmaking skills again. Nice transition into the next act, Act 2. It begins with the narrator explaining the building of the high-rise cityscape and where the corporate elitism element is brought into play. The human resource manager, Hilary Rice, who is the replacement for the previous HR person who was fired for not being tough enough, is mentioned along with the other main character, a man named Rudolph, a plain and simple solo father of a deranged and deformed son. This is the story of how two different people will face each other from two different sides of life with devastating consequences, quoted directly from the film. We see dying flies with maggots, and this particular image becomes very relevant later on. It also has the potential to make you feel a little bit queasy and uncomfortable. Now we are formally introduced to Hilary Rice as she types away on her computer. She is a buxom, big-breasted white woman who gives off the vibes of a school principal. The scene is done very well as we see her repetitiously doing her corporate job from a high-rise glass corporation as more subliminal messages are being presented. An entire scene plays out with her reprimanding and firing Rudolph as he rubs himself in a not so appropriate way, considering he's talking with management, giving us an early view of this character's deviant mind. The sounds of farting, shitting, and squishy bodily fluids being released is a very visceral effect, developing upon the character's disposition, and the further we get through this, the more deplorable he becomes. Rudolph rattles off a very disturbing story as we catch glimpses of a bright pink asshole. This image pops up several times, but it's not overdone, which of course is in reference to sodomy, the upper class sodomizing the working class man with corporate greed and power. Be prepared, there is quite a lot of sodomy action happening throughout this short film. Even though it feels like a frenzy of chaos, I think Metropolitana, he contained the action essentially well. It's not done in a vulgar way, it is definitely on the boundary, but not tipping into pornography. There will be those who beg to differ, of course. Honestly, I have seen worse, but not really done to this high degree where we know what is going on without the need for explicit visuals. The weeping sounds of a baby in the background does not sound normal, so we get some foreshadowing of what is to come, which in turn adds layering of tension, suspense, and where you will become invested to see how this all plays out. Another interesting element which adds to the character of Rudolph is when he proceeds to embellish her with a tale so frightening it's a wonder she doesn't crap her pants. A lot of information comes from Metropolitana's detailed captions, and I am blown away by the fact traditional dialogue was once again thrown out the window by Metropolitana, and it works. The captions, vivid descriptions, along with the sounds, basically says it all. The disgust on Rice's face is palatable as Rudolph tells his sadistic though very relatable tale. In the background, while the scene plays out, we can hear beautiful piano music, which is juxtaposing to what is actually happening in the scene. She loses the plot on him, calling him perverted names, confirming and solidifying to the point that she is a very horrible and hardened woman. Then we segue into the next act. Act 3. I will refer to this as the revenge section. It begins with a kidnapping. Without spoiling the essence of the short film, Miss Rice ends up in Rudolph's house and it does not go well. This is when we are introduced to the child from hell. The incessant sounds of buzzing flies, horrid screams and hellish torment gives a quantifiable belief this is the House of Horrors. The sound effects are brilliant as the music interplays wonderfully to enhance the scene. Full credit to Metropolitana's methodical placement of the music that plays throughout this short horror film. As Miss Rice is being sodomized, we see a microsecond flash of a pig's face superimposed over hers as the filmmaker pushes the narrative and boundaries, one of pure hatred towards the corporate elitism and the manipulative system. It's a story of how the underdog takes revenge upon the elite, though the real question is, who really is the monster? I see 4 monsters: the corporations, Miss Rice, Rudolph, and his diabolical child. This cinematic foray will make you think and ponder what the heck you just watched. It's thought-provoking, that's for sure. And what I like about Metropolitana's films mostly is that they make you reflect well after the credits roll. As the short film reaches its climax, the final words across the screen brings a well-done wraparound to the whole premise of the story. Wherever there is shit, there is always a fly or two. An atomic bomb mushroom cloud fills the screen as the director shows his adherence towards the corporate torment, greed and the imbalance of power by blowing the place to smithereens. Overall, it is the perfect ending to this bizarre short film in which the director's vengeance shows in technicolor and black and white. As the credits roll, the discordant sound of repetitive piano music plays as the director acknowledges both myself and a YouTube horror podcaster, Travis Bruce, from the horror realm. To conclude, this is a little different from Metropolitana's previous cinematic works. Although sodomy is a common theme in his cinematic journey, they are each delivered in different and unique ways in each of his films. With this particular short horror film, I found it to be more direct. The camera becomes an extension of Metropolitana's madness and insanity when it comes to pushing across his point of view. Sodomy is used as a tool for revenge against the corporations who are shafting the middle class. The irony is not lost in translation. Unfortunately for Miss Rice, the child becomes a weapon against her in an extremely ghastly way. Juicy X, who plays the character of Miss Rice, is a phenomenal actress who takes on her role exceptionally well. She comes from a traditional acting background, actually, and the way she moves around Metropolitana's cinema presents a natural flair as she takes on the part of what very few actresses would have the courage to do, and in such a convincing way visually. She has taken acting to a level way beyond conventional acting. Her body language, expression, sexuality, her overall presence in the short film is one of pure perfection. A very powerful actress who delivers her character to a high degree of professionalism, and you can see she takes this very seriously. She should be commended. As you venture through this short horror film, you'll be a witness to this filmmaker's methodical attention to detail that we are used to seeing from Metropolitana. He is paving the way for a new and exploratory subgenre of horror with elaborate themes of dark erotica and the dark depths of the underground. Don't expect anything good to come from this. There are no happy endings, just go along for the ride. If you want to get a taste of his genius cinematic works, you can find Metropolitana's previous short horror films on YouTube. Just look for Guerrilla Metropolitana, where you will see trailers and the short horror films, which were all released in 2021. Bits, My Special Superhero, A Visual Subtext of Madness and Rejection, The Baron and the Harpsichord, and The Censor, a British horror tale of real politics and social moral code. There is a trailer to Metropolitana's 1 hour controversial and shocking feature film Darius, which was released in 2023 and is available to purchase on DVD and Blu-ray. Well, I hope you really enjoyed my review today. This one is definitely one out of the box. And once again, we get to see Metropolitana's brilliance when it comes to his films. I know that he has one other film coming up, which we can keep an eye out for, which is called The Benefactress, and that should be towards the end of the year. Other than that, I am just blown away, which is why I decided I would do a review today, and I hope that you will get the chance to watch this as well. I'd recommend this to anyone looking to see something from the independent realm, independent filmmakers. Just brilliant. Yeah, what more can I say, basically? Well, I hope you get your little hands on it soon. I'm not sure when it's going to be released, but Corporate Torment, It Burns Like Hell should be out very soon. So until then, good luck with that, finding it. I hope you watch it. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye.